Hola, ¿qué tal a toda la comunidad de Roastbrief? Hoy es un día histórico para Roastbrief, para mí en lo personal. Tenemos una entrevista, me atrevo a decir, privilegiada. Tenemos a David Droga con nosotros, fundador y CEO de Accenture Song, de Droga 5, y un sinfín de palmarés en su increíble historia, una leyenda viva. David, thank you so much for being here with us and for the entire Roastbrief community.
Pleasure. Thank you for asking me. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much. How's been Mexico treating you?
It's been great. I've only been here for a few days. It's been very intense, but very warm. And I don't mean the temperature. I mean the people and the conversations.
Oh, it's so nice to hear that.
Yeah, no, it's it's what I expected. It wasn't a shock. I spent a lot of time here personally, so to be here professionally, it only sort of added icing to the cake. It's been wonderful.
Great. What about the food?
Food, don't get me started, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Exactly, even at breakfast, though. I don't normally eat breakfast. I'm like, I have to eat breakfast here because I can have some sort of special spicy sauces on eggs that I've never had, for a long time. But amazing. Mexico City is one of the world's gems.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being all over again for the Roastbrief community. I was saying through the Roastbrief community, you're a living legend. And your career, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean,
thank you.
It's amazing to have it here.
Look, I care a lot and I try hard, so it's flattering to know that people think that I've done some pretty good things. But I care a lot. That's all I say. And I've also worked with a lot of great people in my travels that have helped make me look good and have elevated me as well.
Yeah, you do actually.
Yeah.
So let's get started about all of this entire era about AI. Mm-hmm. How do you envision the impact of this generative AI and on advertising creativity, of course, and the ideation process? I mean, how will the role of creatives change with all this AI revolution?
Well, first, I'm not going to answer that question directly. I'm just going to give it a context first, because just by the word creativity, by its nature, is about change.
Okay.
Creativity in itself is about taking something that is and turning it into something more. So it's in our nature to embrace new things and roll with it and create something. So Gen AI, of course, it's in every conversation and it's a very powerful, profound tool. But it's still a tool.
Yeah, exactly.
And every tool has been made better and validated through a history by imagination and creativity and humanity, taking it, being subversive with it and expanding it and pushing it in new places. So that's why I think I'm less negative or cynical about it than a lot of other people. Now, is it going to change advertising? Is it going to change the iterative process? Absolutely. But again, if we are confident in our ability to connect, because we're what we do with creativity, then we shouldn't be held hostage by trying to retain what it was.
Okay, yeah.
But let's embrace what it is and what it can be. Because if we sit on the sidelines as a creative industries and think, well, it's going to change my industry, it's going to shrink my industry, you'll be left behind, you'll be lost. Okay. But then I do think on the other side, again, it's operating at a different speed than other tools.
Okay, yeah.
Now we take for granted digital and the internet and all these wonderful things. They changed when I first started Droga 5. It was sort of the birth of really the internet changing, the platforms changing what advertising could be and should be, and that propelled and gave me opportunities. Now, I would argue it made me able to be more creative and to do more things and more profound things and be more ambitious. Now, I think it'll replace some of the lazy, mediocre middle of creativity.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing. There's a vast amount of the advertising industry and the marketing industry that is very formulaic and patronizing and paint by numbers. And if it eviscerates that and changes that and does a better job of that, have at it. But the actual very tip of the spear, the part where it's about understanding people and it being unique and distinctive and original and beautiful, and there's always going to be a need for that. So those people that embrace it, but the first point is, understand it, then you can tame it, and once you've tamed it, then it can take you to exciting places.
Great. New tool, new opportunities.
100%.
Right?
Every tool over history has made people nervous, and it has debunked industries, but it hasn't wiped out the need for communication, connection, and originality.
Yeah, and speaking about it, what opportunities and challenges does this Gen AI present from redefining the relationship between brands, consumers, in terms of personalization and authenticity?
Well, don't forget, at the moment, we're still at the very infant stage of Gen AI. Okay, we're still at the stage where there's the wonder at that it can do these things really quickly.
Okay.
It can write things, it can create images, you know what I mean? It can translate things, it can do all these wonderful things. So we're still a little bit in awe of the parlor trick of that. It's wonderful. But a lot of people think, oh, okay, that's the magic is that. The magic isn't that. That's just low-hanging fruit. Okay?
Okay.
But when everyone has access to this thing, when everyone has access to these tools, now what it is doing, there's no question, it's getting ideas out of our heads faster, and it can bring them alive faster, and clients' expectations. But it's also a tool that is in the hands of consumers already. It's in the hands of consumers, so it's part of their everyday life. And personalization is not a bad thing, but personalization is not about, oh, I can know someone's name or just create a unique thing. Personalization is about understanding what role I play in the connection. So as I said, I'm thoughtful about it. I'm not blindly optimistic that there's not going to be any responsibility that we have to take and any training, and there will be some collateral damage. But as a creative person, that's why I sold my company to a tech company. That's why I decided to.
Yes, and it's a cultural thing too, right?
Yeah, 100%. We have to keep. It's our responsibility to keep if our jobs are to keep our clients relevant with their consumers, then we have to be relevant ourselves. And you can't be relevant unless you understand this technology and we lead it. And creative people can lead it more than anyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're sentimental, I like to say that success is not nostalgic, so we can't be, right? So let's not be nostalgic of what worked beforehand. Let's be optimistic and excited about where we're taking things.
Yeah, there's a new horizon.
Absolutely, we have to operate. It's going to take some getting used to. I'm not pretending I have all the answers. Okay. But at least I have the questions and the willingness to want to learn. A lot of people who have certain successes in a thing don't want to learn because they like the feeling of being successful in one iteration. Maybe one of the reasons that I've been very fortunate in my career is for all my successes, I've been restless and I've wanted to learn about how to deploy and be creative in different places and shapes. And that migrated from roles in an agency, countries, and then it started my own company to now being part of it. So my curiosity and wanting to learn and sort of shift and push my belief system and creativity in places has evolved. And I would argue that, again, going back to my first point, creative people are restless, open-minded people, and it fits into any space. So
okay,
now we have
really
to
interesting. Yeah.
Well, you have to now. In the beginning, there's going to be a lot of agencies that are nervous, okay? Because there's a certain amount of clients that are thinking, why would I pay for a script, or why would I pay for an image, or why would I pay for a billboard, or why would I pay for a design, or why would I pay for a website, or there's technology that can just create that ourselves. And there is that level of stuff. But when everybody has access to the same tools, and everybody's websites, and everybody's advertising, and everybody's images, and everyone's posts, and everybody's connections look exactly the same because they've all got access to the same tools, then we're going to be back at square one, which is, what are we going to do? What's going to differentiate us?
And then?
The thinkers, the makers, the creators, the strategists, the believers, that's where we come.
So what are your perspectives on this collaboration between AI and human talent developing innovative campaigns, for instance? How can this relationship be balanced?
Well, we can learn faster because, look, at the moment a lot of creatives use it to help them sell things, because you can create decks and you can create storyboards and you can create images and websites and all this sort of stuff. So it allows you to bring things to life. It also allows you to discover things and get them out of your head faster. Getting things out of your head faster can also make you get to an understanding that something's wrong faster. So you move on to the next idea.
Yeah.
Sometimes the process was slow, where you'd spend so long getting to the wrong idea.
Okay.
I like anything that cuts to the chase. You know what I mean? And so I think we have to learn to work differently. We have to learn to ask different questions. Now, look, you give anybody the first thing that anyone does if they get onto DALL-E or Sora or any of these sort of opportunities where you can create things. The natural inclination is to do something like, oh, create something crazy. You know what I mean? Show me a gorilla eating spaghetti in a Parisian bar, or a giraffe skiing.
Yeah.
Fun to do that sort of stuff. I've done stuff like that, right? But immediately, very quickly, you learn that actually that's not where the genius is. The genius is in the nuance of the reference points and the cues and the hues that you put into that.
Yes.
And the connections points, so like the lighting effects or what I'm trying to do or the pivots here or the edits or the audio. Again, everything's going to come down to what we do with it. Not just the parlor trick, as I said, of just like, oh, I can do something weird.
Yeah, exactly. You said it already. I mean, curiosity is key, is the key word.
Curiosity is key. And taste, who knew? Taste never going to go out of style.
Exactly.
Restraint, never going to go out of style. But ability to clarify, never going out of style. Understanding people, never go out of style. These are the things that we have to hold on to.
Yeah.
Tools, let's pack them all with us and bring them with us.
So, in what ways can Gen AI enhance this decision-making in marketing, and how can it help the teams to identify real-time opportunities?
Well, as I said, we're still in that infant stage in the sense that clients and creators are using it just from a performance and a speed and efficiency type of thing. I can do things faster. I can bring something alive faster, which it's got value to it, right? And clients are particularly seduced by this. Oh, I can create this much faster. I can make a TV commercial, or I can do this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That'll get out. We'll get that out of our system, okay? Eventually, but then we're going to start getting to the next phase of this. The next wave of all technology goes in two waves. There's the first, how do I do what's familiar better and faster? That's what the internet did. And then the next wave of that is people saying, okay, what can I do that I could never do before? What business can I create? What industry can I take? What story can I create? What connection can I create? That's where it's going to get really interesting. What's the next phase? You know what I mean? Like the first phase of the internet allowed businesses, suddenly you didn't have to go to a travel agency to learn about a country or to find out a hotel. You could actually go online, the wonder of go online. You could look it up and search it. And while they were doing that, the hotel companies and the travel companies were doing that. There was a next wave of people after that was like, oh, what's a new business we could start?
Okay.
We could do Airbnb. We don't have to have hotels. I can connect this with
Yes,
you.
exactly.
So there's always another version of something that's going to come. So the real creative minds, whether you're doing it from a corporation or a services point of view that's $1 billion company, or you're doing it a startup in a garage or a basement, is going to be thinking, what's this unlocking and unleashing for me now?
So this is what is this phase? And then we can go to what if phase?
Exactly.
Okay.
The first phase is what can I do that's familiar now better?
Okay.
And then the next phase is what can I do that I could never do before?
Yeah, exactly.
And that the history of time has always proved that. Again, I was talking today in a speech about, that every technology has done that. Every single technology, the internet. Do you know what I mean? We all go back to photography did that. Do you know what I mean? What happened? We're also nimble and we pivot. Right? When they invented photography, apart from the fact it was chemists who invented it, so you had to be a chemist to understand it, and then when you didn't need to be a chemist anymore, then the creative slipped in and turned it into an art form. But what did photography do? It suddenly made the need for realism in painting. It wasn't necessary anymore, because photography could do a better version of it.
Yeah.
Instead of having someone paint my family or paint a castle, a photographer could do that.
Yeah.
Right? Did the art movement die? No, it pivoted, it changed.
Yeah.
Impressionism started. We started painting about feelings and emotions and experimenting with cubism. And we find new ways. You know what I mean? So that's pure creative. But what I'm saying is, from a business perspective, we can unlock new things with our clients. Because if you think the internet is about connecting things, you could suddenly connect, your business with, a URL which could connect them to actually understand this, and then from there they could pivot to sort of booking something. That's about connecting things. Well, what is Gen AI about? It's about combining things. You now can combine these to create these new wonderful things that didn't exist. The alchemy is going to be different.
Yeah, exactly. Like this prompt engineering that's been developing.
100%. This new language. There's a new grammar.
That's a new language, exactly.
Exactly. Everything is.
So how do you think agencies and consultancies should evolve to integrate this Gen AI and remain competitive and relevant in the market?
Educate yourself first. That's the first thing I'd say. Just stop bitching about it. Stop being terrified about it. Jump in and learn about it. And the more that, and I don't mean just it's the privilege or the responsibility of the creative people to learn about it. Everybody should learn about it. It's a matter of fact everyday thing, and it's evolving obviously always. And we're seeing it a lot within song already. Yes, it's showing up a lot in marketing, less so in this phase of it's creating new TV commercials and stuff like that. But it is turning up in sort of much more contextualized and personalizing things online. And it's also showing up very much in our service practices.
Okay.
Contact centers and all that sort of stuff. Which is really important. As I said, it's arming you with ability to bring things alive. It's arming you with sort of context of things. It's great. Best practices.
So, what role does Accenture Song play guiding brands toward an ethical and responsible adoption of Gen AI, particularly like regarding transparency and privacy, for instance?
We spend a lot of time talking about that. You know what I mean? Because even though we're very, very big, and we have thousands of clients we're doing projects for with Gen AI and AI. It's also a great revealer, because when you sit down with clients, it's not just the excitement of the promise of what it could be. It's very revealing because it also makes corporations understand whether they're ready for it. Is their talent ready for it? Do you have to? Maybe the thing that comes out of the exercise is that your talent's not ready for it. You have to retrain them. Maybe the exercise is and your data's not ready, because it's only as good as the data you put in. You know what I mean? But also part of the responsibility. Accenture is such a substantial company, and it's a real tech company, right? So it doesn't do things superficially, or it doesn't skim on anything. And we're sort of in so many industries that they look to us to sort of educate them. So it's one thing to we talk about our job is to make our clients relevant, but part of making a client relevant is to make them business ready. So business ready is understanding and explaining them the pitfalls. And there are lots of things with the guardrails we have to do, and we have huge departments in Accenture and in Song, but in Accenture that are spending all their time thinking about responsible AI and what are the regulations that should be, and how do we lead by example? Because we test, Accenture itself is 750,000 people. That's an insane number to say out loud.
Yeah, no.
Right? So we test everything on ourselves. Click my phone, sorry.
Yeah, no, don't worry.
You know what I mean? So we make sure that we're not selling things to our clients that we haven't tested on ourselves first. But this is a chance, unlike previous, the internet and social media and stuff, where there was such a giddy race to build these things and innovate that they didn't really think about the collateral damage or the responsibility. Yeah, this is a chance for us to do it in lockstep.
Okay,
and we are.
It's huge.
Yeah, great, and that's that's what we spend a lot of time doing. And because also I think clients are nervous as well, and that we parlay that nervousness into having really distinct and appropriate conversations about what it means. Okay. Because there's so many, because again, you have to think, and this is not new news, but obviously, with Gen AI it's a culmination of everything that's ever been written or created or spoken in the past, right?
Yeah.
But even within that, even though it distills that down to the sort of the essence of what you asked or wanted to do, there's still enormous amounts of biases that are in that, because the past is very biased.
Yeah.
So you've got to, how do you work out how to mitigate that and sit through that and not fall in victim to, progress through having a rear vision mirror.
Yeah, this is just the beginning of this path, this whole new path.
But how exciting! This is the thing I'd say.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
All the
it
nervous
is.
Creatives and all the nervous people that are thinking, is this spell doomsday for our industry? I'd be like, you know what? It's a gift. It's going to be hard, but it's a gift. It's a gift that you can be one of the architects that help dictate what this becomes.
Yeah, it's not scary. It's exciting.
Whether you're scared or excited, it is going to happen.
Yeah.
It is. Okay?
It's about to happen,
It is happening with you or without you. So get in and be one of the people that shapes it to be better.
Okay.
If not, get out. And then don't bitch about what it does to you and your job.
Okay.
But be an architect, be a leader.
So, I could spend hours talking about all of this, but what emerging trends in creativity and marketing do you foresee thanks to this Gen AI? And how will they impact the future of this industry?
That's such a big question. If I had a crystal ball, I would say, look, as I said, this technology, unlike any other technology, is already in the hands of the consumers. They're using it day to day already. So the educational period for them isn't there. Clients don't have to do proofs of concept, and there's hope that then we'll bring it to market. The average consumer is using it more times than they realize every day. So the goal for us is to as with everything, is how do we show up? And if I'm a brand or a service or an agency, how do I show up in a meaningful way that doesn't add to the clutter and complexity of life, but adds value, makes things meaningful, valuable, rewarding? That's the responsibility of any brand in anyone's life. And if you use this technology to amplify and enhance that, you will win. But if you start with those metrics before just like, I'm just going to bombard them in a submission, I'm going to get in the face, you know what I mean? But you start with real human tenets. And, you know, as I said, it's not going to outsource all creativity. You know, it is not there to replace humans. Part of the human functions and some human roles it's going to replace, but it's not there to replace humans. And, you know, I said in my speech earlier today, the worry isn't machines thinking like humans. The worry is humans thinking like machines.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So that's the thing I would spend more time stressing about.
Yeah, and it's happening. It's going on already. So we got to
assimilate.
Yeah, we got to be ready for it.
Be proud of who we are. Be proud
exactly.
Of our dysfunction. You know what I mean? Now, because at the end of the day, like you'd argue, right? If I was being a cynic, I'd say, well, what is the essence of AI and Gen AI? It's problem solvers, right? Now, if you really looked at it, you'd say, eventually they'll get to and say, you know what the problem is? People. But actually, that's not going to happen, right? Because it's people and humanity and our imaginations and all that sort of stuff that makes things interesting and that allows us to pivot and not be predictable. And it's the non-predictable things in life that make life interesting. And that's where new comes from. That's where progress comes from. Progress is from lateral leaps, not just iterations.
Oh my God, this is like a masterclass for me. My mind is like going full.
I mean, but it's just a belief system, right? You know, it's like that's why as a creative person, look, I'm still a creative at the end of the day. Like that's still what I think about. I think about people and what we can make and shape and all that. So but I'm a very simple person. But as I said, I don't want to be a simple person that's made redundant in the corner. I want to get in and use what's available to us. I always have my entire career. I've been excited by technology, even if it means I have to learn and break myself down to understand. My values have stayed the same. My desire to have a positive impact on people has always been the same.
Yeah, it's all about curiosity.
It's curiosity and tools and intention. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And as a creative, as I said, we're curious, restless. You know, we can be. You know, there's a lot of responsibly wrong people in the world. Let's be the irresponsibly right.
I mean, I'm speechless. Thank you so much for this. I mean, it's been an honor for us. Thank you so much,
my pleasure.
David.
Nice chatting.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So, just to close this interview, to end this interview, how does the future look like for you with all of this Gen AI and all of this curiosity and all of these new tools that is coming?
Look, are you talking from a personal or a business perspective?
Both.
As with everything, I think I'm cautiously optimistic. You know what I mean? Because I think I'm excited by what it can do, but my caution makes sure that I do things the right way and don't just run into it head on without thinking about the ramifications and the responsibility that comes with that. And I look at it thinking, you know, yes, there was certain simplicity when I was coming up in the industry in the beginning. You know, all I had to do was look at a layout pad and write something, and it was, you know, that was enough magic. And I think, you know, there's a purity to that I love, but then there's things we can do that we could never do. You know, I think what this will do, I think this will take the very best of the industry I did come from, the advertising and the creators, and elevate us and put us in more positions of influence. That's what I think it'll happen. I don't want creative people to be hemmed in and pigeonholed as just advertising people. I want them to be creative people of massive influence and business people that lead by being creative.
Great. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure for us. Thank you to all the entire Roastbrief community.
Pleasure.
And it's been an honor to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me ramble a little bit. No, I enjoyed my time in Mexico.
Thank you so much. Y a toda la comunidad de Roastbrief, pues David Droga, una leyenda viva. Muchísimas gracias y pues nos despedimos. Chao.